Hello screenwriters, we are back for another episode of Watch Me Write, where every week I write 5 pages for my first screenplay, then I discuss the previous 5 pages. This week we're going to talk about pages 76 through 80. Last week when we left you guys, Jamal was going home. He ran into Chris selling drugs to a drug addict that Damien normally sells to Cedric. In that particular scene, there's a watch that Cedric is wearing. That watch has a significant meaning to it. In the previous pages, I added little clues here and there about that watch. So if you see this watch again, then you know the meaning behind that watch as far as in the whole murder investigation. We've seen Andrew going around talking to people. He's talked to Alonzo, he's talked to Pops. Now it's Wallace's turn to start interrogating some individuals. His first target is Kafella. He catches Kafella outside of his building. Wallace decides to use the soft approach. If you remember, Wallace has a hobby. His hobby is that he studies what different names mean around the world. Rightfully so, he knows the meaning of Kafella's name. He uses that to kind of like soften things up. Kafella feels comfortable enough that he takes Detective Wallace on his offer to go have a conversation, so they go to a nearby diner. Detective Wallace and Kafella are now at this diner having a conversation. The conversation starts friendly enough where they talk about everything from baseball to family relationship. He lets Wallace know that his mother passed away and that's how he got the name. As the conversation continues, it starts to take a turn because Wallace has a job to do, right? He's trying to find out who murdered Damon, so he starts to ask Kafella about his brother Jamal. Wallace alludes to the fact that Kafella's brother Jamal is a hothead and he's known to be a troublemaker. Right away, Kafella gets defensive. He tells Wallace that he's not going to stop hanging out with his brother because cops like him label Jamal a troublemaker. So right then, the conversation starts to shift a little bit. After Jamal's name comes up, Kafella starts to open up even more to Wallace. He tells Wallace that Jamal wasn't always this way. Him and Jamal grew up playing baseball together. Everything was great until Jamal moved to Brooklyn. Kafella doesn't blame Jamal for the way he turns out. He blames the environment he's in. However, Wallace tells him that, well, you grew up in the same environment and you seem to turn out okay. That's when Kafella says, well, maybe I'm one of the lucky ones. And then Wallace hits him with this. I guess Damien wasn't that lucky. While Wallace and Kafella conversation is happening, we move outside of the diner and we see Chris walking across. He sees Kafella and Wallace having a conversation. Right away, he gets very suspicious. He's wondering, why is Kafella talking to a detective, especially with this murder investigation going on where all of them might be suspects. That is it for pages 76 through 80. Next up are pages 81 through 85. Like this video, subscribe if you love screenwriting. If you think about writing your first screenplay, go to your favorite app store, download Stratword. Fade out.